Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day. Don't forget, grab your smartphone and download the Lava Matra app and stay in touch. Guru Maharaj's message is your advantage. The following is a Sri Krishna Chaitanya book compilation given by His Holiness Jaya Pataka Swami Maharaj on August 23rd, 2021 in Sri Mayapur, India.
Pongolanghayate girim Shri Guru Dinatarinam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram.
Continuation of the compilation of Sri Krishna Chaitanya book, Part 4, chapter entitled Love of Krishna floods everyone except the Mayavadis of Kashi. Under the section, The Lord travels to Vrindavan. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 7.3132.
অহৈতুক কৃপা সিন্ধুর তাহাদের উদ্ধারের চিন্তা তাহাদে কি মহাপ্রভু করেন চিন্তন জগৎ ডুবাইতে আমি করিলু যতন কেহ 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 এড়াইল প্রতিজ্ঞা হইল ভঙ্গ তা সবা ডুবাইতে পাতিব কিছু রঙ্গ.
Seeing that the Mayavadis and others were fleeing, Lord Chaitanya thought, I wanted everyone to be immersed in this inundation of love of Godhead, but some of them have escaped. Therefore, I shall devise a trick to drown them also. Purport. Here is an important point. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to invent a way to capture the Mayavadis and others who did not take interest in the Krishna consciousness movement. This is a symptom of an Acharya. An Acharya who comes for the service of the Lord cannot be expected to conform to a stereotype, for he must find the ways and means by which Krishna consciousness may be spread. Sometimes jealous persons criticize the Krishna consciousness movement because it engages equally both boys and girls in distributing love of Godhead, not knowing that boys and girls in countries like Europe and America mix very freely. These fools and rascals criticize the boys and girls in Krishna consciousness for intermingling. But these rascals should consider that one cannot suddenly change a community's social customs. However, since both the boys and the girls are being trained to become preachers, those girls are not ordinary girls but are as good as their brothers who are preaching Krishna consciousness. Therefore, to engage both boys and girls in fully transcendental activities is a policy intended to spread the Krishna consciousness movement. These jealous fools who criticize the intermingling of boys and girls will simply have to be satisfied with their own foolishness because they cannot think of how to spread Krishna consciousness by adopting ways and means that are favorable for this purpose. Their stereotyped methods will never help spread Krishna consciousness. Therefore, what we are doing is perfect by the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for it is he who proposed to invent a way to capture those who strayed from Krishna consciousness.
His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada,
His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada,
as an Acharya,
as an Acharya,
he invented different ways to capture the conditioned souls.
He invented different ways to capture the conditioned souls.
And so in the West, he saw that the culture was such that boys and girls intermingle.
So in the West, he saw that the culture was such that the boys and girls intermingle.
I engaged the girls to become preachers.
So he engaged the girls to become preachers.
And this way, Krishna consciousness would spread in the society.
And in this way, Krishna consciousness could spread in the society.
Whether one is a boy or whether one is a girl, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, they can achieve pure bhakti.
Whether one is a boy or a girl, by Lord Chaitanya's mercy, they can achieve Krishna Bhakti.
And according to the Shastra, they go back to Godhead.
And according to the Shastra, they can go back to Godhead.
The Acharya, he cannot be a stereotype.
So the Acharya, he cannot be a stereotype.
He has to think how to deliver the people in each country, in each time, place, and circumstance.
He has to think how to deliver the people in each country, in each time, place and circumstance. Vijana Charitamrita Adi Leela 7.33.
পতিত বঞ্চিত জীবের উদ্ধার জন্য সন্ন্যাস গ্রহণ, এত বলি মনে কিছু করিয়া বিচার, সন্ন্যাস আশ্রম প্রভু কইলা অঙ্গীকার।
Thus the Lord accepted the sannyas order of life after full consideration. Purport. There was no need for Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to accept sannyas, for he is God himself and therefore has nothing to do with the material bodily concept of life. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not identify himself with any of the 8 varnas and ashramas, namely Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyas. He identified himself as the Supreme Spirit. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or for that matter any pure devotee, never identifies with these social and spiritual divisions of life. For a devotee is always transcendental to these different gradations of society. Nevertheless, Lord Chaitanya decided to accept sannyas on the grounds that when he became a sannyasi, everyone would show him respect and in that way be favored. Although there was actually no need for him to accept sannyas, he did so for the benefit of those who might think him an ordinary human being. The main purpose of his accepting sannyasa was to deliver the Mayavadi sannyasis. This will be evident later in this chapter. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has explained the term Mayavadi as follows. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is transcendental to the material conception of life. A Mayavadi is one who considers the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna to be made of Maya, and who also considers the abode of the Lord and the process of approaching him, devotional service, to be Maya. The Mayavadi considers all the paraphernalia of devotional service to be Maya. Maya refers to material existence, which is characterized by the reactions of fruitive activities. Mayavadis consider devotional service to be among such fruitive activities. According to them, when Bhagavatas, devotees, are purified by philosophical speculation, they will come to the real point of liberation. Those who speculate in this way regarding devotional service are called Kutarkikas, false logicians. And those who consider devotional service to be fruitive activity are called Karmanishtas. Those who criticize devotional service are called Nindakas, blasphemers. Similarly, non-devotees who consider devotional activities to be material are called Pasandis, and scholars with a similar viewpoint are called Adhama Paduyas. The Kutarkikas and Nindakas, Pasandis and Adhama Paduyas all avoided the benefit of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement of developing love of Godhead. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt compassion for them, and it is for this reason that he decided to accept the sannyas order. For by seeing him as a sannyasi, they would offer him respects. The sannyas order is still respected in India. Indeed, the very dress of a sannyasi still commands respect from the Indian public. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas to facilitate preaching his devotional cult, although otherwise he had no need to accept the fourth order of spiritual life.
Lord Chaitanya simply accepted sannyas as a method to deliver people who would otherwise avoid him.
Lord Chaitanya simply accepted sannyas as a method to deliver people who would otherwise avoid him.
And by being a sannyasi, these type of people might offer him respect.
And by being a sannyasi, these type of people might offer him respect.
In this way, he was using the Acharya principle of how to deliver all the people.
And in this way, he was using the Acharya principle of how to deliver all the people.
So all the devotees in the present Krishna conscious movement
So, all the devotees in the present Krishna consciousness movement
should also think how to develop, how to apply this principle.
should also think how to develop, how to apply this principle,
How to deliver all the blasphemers and criticizers, false traditions, and materialistic students.
how to deliver blasphemers, false logicians, materialistic students. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adilila 7.34.
24 বছর ছিলা গৃহস্থ আশ্রমে পঞ্চবিংশতি বর্ষে কইলা জ্যোতি ধর্মে
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained in householder life for 24 years, and on the verge of his 25th year, he accepted the sannyas order. Purport. There are 4 orders of spiritual life, namely Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. And in each of these ashramas, there are 4 divisions. The divisions of the Brahmacharya ashram are Savitriya, Prajapatya, Brahma, and Brihat. And the divisions of the Grahastha ashram are Varta, professionals, Sanchaya, accumulators, Shalina, those who do not ask anything from anyone, and Silonchana, those who collect grains from the paddy fields. Similarly, the divisions of the Vanaprastha ashram are Vaikhanasa, Valakilya, Audambara, and Fenapa. And the divisions of the sannyas are Kutichaka, Bahudaka, Hamsa, and Nishkriya. There are 2 kinds of sannyasis who are called Dhiras and Narottams, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.13.26-27. At the end of the month of January in the year 1432 Shakabda, AD 1510, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the sannyas order from Keshava Bharati, who belonged to the Shankara Sampradaya.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had accepted this sannyas order to deliver the Mayavadi sannyasis.
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had accepted the sannyas order to deliver the Mayavadi sannyasis.
Otherwise, Lord Chaitanya, he didn't need to accept any specific order.
Otherwise, Lord Chaitanya, he didn't need to accept any specific order,
As he was transcendental.
as he was transcendental.
Similarly, pure devotees of Lord Chaitanya are transcendental to all these orders.
Similarly, the pure devotees of Lord Chaitanya are transcendental to all these orders,
And they observe one another in order to reach Krishna consciousness.
they may observe one or the other in order to preach Krishna consciousness. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela 7.35.
পড়ুয়া পাষণ্ডী তার্কিক নিন্দাকাদি বঞ্চিত দলের উদ্ধার সন্ন্যাস করিয়া প্রভু কৈলাকর্ষণ যতেক পালাইয়াছিল তার্কিকাদিগণ।
After accepting the sannyas order, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu attracted the attention of all those who had evaded him, beginning with the logicians.
The materialistic students
The materialistic students
are criticizing Lord Chaitanya for being a grihastha and acting against them.
who are criticizing Lord Chaitanya for being a grahastha and acting against them.
Lord Chaitanya took the sannyas order, and then they respected him.
Lord Chaitanya took the sannyas order and then they respected him. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 7.36.
পড়ুয়া পাষণ্ডী কর্মী নিন্দিকাদি যত তারা আসি প্রভু পায় হয় অবনত।
Thus the students, infidels, fruity workers, and critics all came to surrender onto the lotus feet of the Lord.
So, in those days, sannyasis were especially respected,
Those days, sannyasis were especially respected,
and even today, sannyasis are somewhat respected in India.
even today, sannyasis are somewhat respected in India.
And so, all those who are opposed to his movement of love for Godhead,
And all those who are opposed to this movement of love of Godhead,
they accepted the sannyas order.
they accepted the sannyas order.
When he accepted,
When he accepted the sannyas order,
they became respectful.
they became respectful.
চৈতন্য চরিতামৃত আদিনীলা 7.37। তাহাদের অপরাধ মোচন এবং ভক্তি লাভ অপরাধ ক্ষমাইল ডুবিল প্রেম জলে কেবা এড়াইবে প্রভুর প্রেম মহাজালে।
Lord Chaitanya excused them all, and they merged into the ocean of devotional service. For no one can escape the unique, loving network of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Purport: Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was an ideal acharya. An acharya is an ideal teacher who knows the purport of the revealed scriptures, behaves exactly according to their injunctions, and teaches his students to adopt these principles also. As an ideal acharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu devised ways to capture all kinds of atheists and materialists. Every acharya has a specific means of propagating his spiritual movement with the aim of bringing men to Krishna consciousness. Therefore, the method of one acharya may be different from that of another. But the ultimate goal is never neglected. Srila Rupa Goswami recommends an acharya should devise means by which people may somehow or other come to Krishna consciousness. First, they should become Krishna conscious, and all the prescribed rules and regulations may later gradually be introduced. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we follow this policy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For example, since boys and girls in the Western countries freely intermingle, special concessions regarding their customs and habits are necessary to bring them to Krishna consciousness. The Acharya must devise means to bring them to devotional service. Therefore, although I am a sannyasi, I sometimes take part in getting boys and girls married. Although in the history of sannyas, no sannyasi has personally taken part in marrying his disciples.
The Europeans and Americans, boys and girls, really intermingle.
The Europeans and Americans, boys and girls, freely intermingle.
But Srila Prabhupada recommended that if they want to really intermingle, they should be married.
But Srila Prabhupada recommended that if they want to freely intermingle, they should be married.
So, this was his arrangement. And he participated in marriages sometimes.
So, this was his arrangement, and he participated in these marriages. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 7.38.
সকল জীবের উদ্ধারের জন্য উপায় আবিষ্কার সবানিস্তারিতে প্রভু কৃপা অবতার সবানিস্তারিতে করে চাতুরী অপার
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in order to deliver all the fallen souls. Therefore, he devised many methods to liberate them from the clutches of Maya. Purport. It is the concern of the Acharya to show mercy to the fallen souls. In this connection, Desha, Kala, Patra, the place, the time, and the object should be taken into consideration. Since the European and American boys and girls in a Krishna consciousness movement preach together, less intelligent men criticize that they are mingling without restriction. In Europe and America, boys and girls mingle unrestrictedly and have equal rights. Therefore, it is not possible to completely separate the men from the women. However, we are thoroughly instructing both men and women how to preach, and actually they are preaching wonderfully. Of course, we very strictly prohibit illicit sex. Boys and girls who are not married are not allowed to sleep together or live together, and there are separate arrangements for boys and girls in every temple. Grihasthas live outside the temple, for in the temple we do not allow even husband and wife to live together. The results of this are wonderful. Both men and women are preaching the gospel of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna with redoubled strength. In this verse, the words Sava Nistarite Kare Chaturi Apara indicate that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to deliver one and all. Therefore, it is a principle that a preacher must strictly follow the rules and regulations laid down in the Shastras, yet at the same time devise a means by which the preaching work to reclaim the fallen may go on with full force.
The four regular principles to be followed is to destroy the good qualities of the human being and to avoid illicit sex, gambling, intoxication, and meat eating.
The four regulative principles which destroy the good qualities of a human being are illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication.
So Prabhupada would stress these things.
So Srila Prabhupada would stress these things
but he would devise a system and engage all the boys and girls in preaching Krishna consciousness.
But he would devise a system to engage all the boys and girls in preaching Krishna consciousness. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela 7.39.
কাশীর মায়াবাদী ব্যতীত সকল মানবের উদ্ধার, তবে নিজ ভক্ত কইল যত মিলেচ্ছ আদি, সবে এড়াইল মাত্র কাশীর মায়াবাদী।
All were converted into devotees of Lord Chaitanya, even the Malechas and Yavanas. Only the impersonalist followers of Sankaracharya evaded him. Purport. In this verse, it is clearly indicated that although Lord Chaitanya converted Muslims and other Malechas into devotees, the impersonalist followers of Sankaracharya could not be converted. After accepting the renounced order of life, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu converted many karmanishtas who were addicted to fruitive activities. Many great logicians like Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Nindakas, blasphemers like Prakashananda Saraswati, Pashandis, non-devotees like Jagai and Madai, and Adama Paduyas, degraded students like Mukunda and his friends. All of them gradually became devotees of the Lord. Even the Pathans, Muslims, but the worst offenders, the impersonalists, were extremely difficult to convert, for they very tactfully escaped the devices of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In describing the Kashira Mayavadis, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has explained that persons who are bewildered by empiric knowledge or direct sensual perception, and who thus consider that even this limited material world can be gauged by their material estimations, conclude that anything that one can discern by direct sense perception is but Maya or illusion. They maintain that although the absolute truth is beyond the range of sense perception, it includes no spiritual variety or enjoyment. According to the Kashira Mayavadis, the spiritual world is simply void. They do not believe in the personality of the absolute truth or in his varieties of activities in the spiritual world, although they have their own arguments which are not very strong. They have no conception of the variegated activities of the absolute truth. These impersonalists, who are followers of Shankaracharya, are generally known as Kashira Mayavadis, impersonalists residing in Varanasi. Near Varanasi, there is another group of impersonalists who are known as Saranatha Mayavadis. Outside the city of Varanasi is a place known as Saranatha, where there is a big Buddhist stupa. Many followers of Buddhist philosophy live there, and they are known as Saranatha Mayavadis. The impersonalists of Saranatha differ from those of Varanasi. While Varanasi impersonalists propagate the idea that the impersonal Brahman is truth, whereas material varieties are false, the Saranatha impersonalists do not even believe that the absolute truth or Brahman can be understood as the opposite of Maya or illusion. According to their vision, materialism is the only manifestation of the absolute truth. Factually, both the Kashira and the Saranatha Mayavadis, as well as any other philosophers who have no knowledge of the spirit soul, are advocates of utter materialism. None of them have clear knowledge regarding the absolute or the spiritual world. Philosophers like the Saranatha Mayavadis, who do not believe in the spiritual existence of the absolute truth, but consider material varieties to be everything, do not believe that there are two kinds of nature, inferior and superior, as described in the Bhagavad Gita. Actually, neither the Varanasi nor Saranatha Mayavadis accept the principles of the Bhagavad Gita due to a poor fund of knowledge. Since these impersonalists who do not have perfect spiritual knowledge cannot understand the principles of Bhakti Yoga, they must be classified among the non-devotees who are against the Krishna consciousness movement. We sometimes feel inconvenienced by the hindrances offered by these impersonalists, but we do not care about their so called philosophy, for we are propagating our own philosophy as presented in Bhagavad Gita as it is, and getting successful results. Theorizing as if devotional service were subject to their mental speculation, both kinds of Mayavadi impersonalists conclude that the subject matter of Bhakti Yoga is a creation of Maya and that Krishna, devotional service, and the devotee are also Maya. Therefore, as stated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mayavadi Krishna Aparadi. All the Mayavadis are offenders to Lord Krishna. It is not possible for them to understand the Krishna consciousness movement.
CC Madhya
CC Madhya 17.129. It is not possible for them to understand the Krishna consciousness movement. Therefore, we do not value their philosophical conclusions. However, experts such quarrelsome impersonalists are in putting forward their so-called logic. We defeat them in every respect and go forward with our Krishna consciousness movement. Their imaginative mental speculation cannot deter the progress of the Krishna consciousness movement, which is completely spiritual and is never under the control of such Mayavadis.
Lord Chaitanya advised we should not listen to these Mayavadi and personalist fighters philosophers.
So, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised that we should not listen to these Mayavadis, voidist, impersonalist philosophers,
Since they will simply create confusion in the mind.
since they'll simply create confusion in the mind.
Srila Prabhupada he never compromise, presenting the absolute truth is sentient and personal.
Srila Prabhupada, he never compromised in presenting the absolute truth is sentient and personal.
But these impersonalists, they don't accept that.
But these impersonalists, they don't accept that.
So that's why hearing them is very dangerous.
So that's why hearing them is very dangerous.
One can get bewildered.
One can get bewildered.
And Lord Chaitanya, he devised a scheme to deliver these Kashira Mayavadis.
So Lord Chaitanya, he devised a scheme to deliver these Kashira Mayavadis.
But first, he went to Vrindavan.
But first he went to Vrindavan. Thus ends the chapter entitled Love of Krishna floods everyone except the Mayavadis of Kashi. Part 4. Under the section The Lord Travels to Vrindavan.
Do you like our ad-free videos? Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day, and don't forget to like and share our channel.